Its second attack in the past 7 months in Pampore area. The modus operandi is similar of the Pakistan proxy war being waged on the Indian soil. In June, a CRPF convoy was attacked by terrorists. This time now an army convoy was attacked by terrorists in Pampore area. 3 of army Jawans have been martyred as terrorists opened fire at the army convoy on Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. My colleague Shuja joining us from the ground to give us more details in just a bit. We've got the initial reaction from the IG CRPF. Let's play that out also for our viewers, where they've maintained that they couldn't open fire at the terrorists because the attack took place in a civilian area. They had to take in account the civilian casualties that could have happened if a gunfight ensued.
3 बजे करीब हाईवे पे जो आर्मी की कॉन्वॉय जा रही थी, टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ है। उसमें सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने भी रिटेलिएट किया है, जेकेपी ने, सीआरपी ने, क्योंकि यहाँ काफी ज्यादा पब्लिक थी, इसलिए खुल के सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस फायर नहीं कर पाए। अभी तक यही हुआ, हम लोग बाकी देख रहे हैं। इट इज नॉट कंफर्म्ड एज येट।
No confirmation right now how many terrorists were involved in this operation, but they've managed to flee from the spot. The entire area has been cordoned off right now. In June, though, 2 terrorists had managed to attack CRPF convoy. They were trained by Lashkar. Right now, getting more details of when the operation unfolded. In June, 8 people were killed, 20 were injured. This time, 3 of our army Jawans have been martyred. Earlier, the terrorists had used AK-47 and grenades. Right now, information just being gathered on how this attack unfolded. But the timing couldn't be worse, because you had the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister talking about making the borders irrelevant, with Pakistan as a treacherous neighbor striking back again. It also comes in the wake of a demonetization drive, where terrorists are turning desperate in the valley. There have been cases of weapons looting, banks looting, and now there is an attack on the army convoy. Also, you have the new Pak Army Chief who's been installed, and this is yet another attack post Nagrota that we're seeing of Pakistan provoking India. My colleague Shuja getting us the latest report.
A major attack has taken place here in Pampore today, and 3 army Jawans have been killed and 1 has been injured. This is the national highway that connects Kashmir with the rest of the country, and this national highway has come under attack like this many times. In fact, just recently, about in 9 months back, we saw a similar attack exactly at this place where the CRPF convoy was attacked by the militants. Now, the army says that they are looking out for these attackers. The police and the paramilitary forces are helping them in this lookout, but so far there hasn't been any success. These militants took the advantage of the busy crowd, the busy road, and fled from the spot. With cameraman Tariq Shujaul Haq in Pampore for India Today.
We'll try and connect with Shuja as well. He's trying to get more details with us. Let me go across right now to Lieutenant General Raj Katyan, who's with us at the moment. General Katyan, we've been talking about the challenges that the security forces will now face to trace the terrorists first. Tell us about the susceptibility of the terror attacks along the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway and Pampore in particular, because 7 months earlier as well, we had seen a similar modus operandi carried out by terrorists.
This vulnerability, Devina, will always stay. It's a long highway, it passes through difficult areas. Some stretches have local support, that is why more attacks are taking place there. These attacks are launched, every such attack carries the signature of Pakistan Army and the ISI. Api said obviously is their terror agent, but the source is actually the Pakistan Army, the Pakistan ISI, who are running the country. No matter who the chief is, these policies will continue. We have to therefore hit the source. We have to hit the army. And the best way to hit the army, again, maintain is on the ceasefire line. Terror attacks are launched because they suit Pakistani army. We should heat up the LOC because that does not suit Pakistan, it suits us. Select areas, select timings, select methods and means that suit us, and punish Pakistan for every terror attack. They must be made to speak in the same language that they understand. That is the only military solution. In the long term, of course, We are already tightening up the river water dispute. The World Bank has opted out. They have said let India and Pakistan resolve that Kishanganga river dams on their own. So that is one way to put pressure, but that's a long-term policy to put pressure of the river waters on Pakistan.
Okay.
In the immediate future, militarily, the only answer that I can think of is to punish them on the line of control. And
So
keep punishing.
retaliate at the line of control. But General Kadin, you've said perhaps another surgical strike is not on the table. Talking more about that, let me go across to Shuja, who's joining us from the ground to give details of the search operation. Shuja, right now, what are the details that you're gathering? How many terrorists were involved in this dastardly attack? And which is the group that's claiming responsibility for it?
Well, Divina, so far there is no responsibility coming forward from any group. But let me tell you that there was already, we are coming to know that there was already an alert sounded since yesterday in itself because there was a suspicion that Hizbul Mujahideen's highway squad could carry out, an attack like this at any point on the national highway. This was an input that we are given to understand by sources already was in, and that's why a lot of, paramilitary forces and the security forces were deployed along the national highway. But we have to remember that it's a huge highway, and securing each and every point and inch of the road is something that is a real tough challenge. But yes, there was an input about a possibility of such attack taking place, and it did happen today in Pampore, where similar attacks have happened in the past itself. In fact, we were talking about the June attack where CRPF convoy was targeted, and let me tell you that spot is not very far away from this particular spot where today's attack has happened.
But Shuja, have you been able to speak to some of the eyewitnesses, because this attack happened in a busy, bustling scenario where even the CRPF IG has said we were not able to retaliate on the open fire that the terrorists did because of the public presence there. So have you been able to speak to some of the eyewitnesses and gather more information? What kind of arms and ammunition were these terrorists using?
Well, we did try to speak to the locals around, particularly the shopkeepers. They said that they suddenly heard gunshots, and it was a brief fire that they heard, and which lasted for about only 15-20 minutes, and then the attackers escaped. We are given to understand that it is quite possible that the attackers could be 2 to 3 in number, and they clearly had this all planned. They knew the spot, they knew that the convoy was also coming from here, and they also understood the fact that it is a busy road. There's a lot of traffic that sort of passes through at the time when they have chosen to attack. So that also worked to their advantage, and that's why they could flee from the spot. Now, a search operation is being carried out by the paramilitary forces, police force, and even the army can be seen stationed here. They're saying that they're doing their level best to, try and track these attackers and find out where they have gone.
All right, Shuja, be with us. We talk more about the modus operandi in which these terrorists were able to carry out the operation, managed to flee because they planned it well at a time where the entire area is bustling with civilian activity. And the challenges now for the security forces is to search these terrorists and neutralize them as well, because they continue to be at large. 3 of our army Jawans have been martyred in this operation. We also spoke to Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, Major General G.D. Bakshi. Let's take a listen into their viewpoints.
And you must understand that the militant, the religious militantism in Kashmir is being supported by a number of Islamic countries. So the funds is no problem as far as they are concerned. And secondly, being in a very strategic location, as you know, the location of Pampore, and Pampore has seen incidents much before that. And the sympathizers who are staying there, the sleeper cells, what we call them, they are very, very aware. And secondly, there are a lot of communication which takes place. Now these people don't go and talk to them, man to man. They have got the signals, they have got wireless systems, they have got their own signal systems which can be jammed.
The fact of the matter is this dastardly attack is a direct consequence of Hafiz Saeed spewing venom against India yesterday. He was threatening us with fire and brimstone and what have you, and now his minions have tried to suck up to him by trying to stage this attack. My point is So far, for the last about 10-15 days, there has been a deafening silence on the line of control. When we hit back after the Machel beheading, the Pakistanis asked for a ceasefire. The Pakistanis wanted a de-escalation because obviously they were worried that we were stepping on the escalator. Previously, in Pakistan, there were two Sharifs, and we saw that unfortunately it was not Nawaz Sharif but Rahil Sharif who was in charge.
Also getting the reaction of former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, who's tweeted, taking to the Twitter handle, quoting India Today Flash, saying that a bad year in terms of security force casualties just got worse. RIP, my condolences to the families of the soldiers killed today. A condolence message that is coming in from Omar Abdullah. Going right now across to we're also getting more voices who are joining us right now on this broadcast. First, let me go across to my colleague Shuja as well. Now, Shuja, take us through what's been the modus operandi of the terrorists this time. Is it different from what happened in June where a CRPF convoy was ambushed? This time, although it's a more of a public place that was chosen by his highway squad, it seems, on the prima facie, if you look at it, because an alert was sounded yesterday by his highway squad that they would strike hard.
Well, that is the strange thing, Divina. The modus operandi on, on most of these highway attacks is almost the same. If you look at this Pampore attack that took place today and the Pampore attack that took place 9 months back, it is almost the same script. They had an ambush, they planned it well, they knew the spot, they perhaps also had an idea of the movement of the convoy and chose the softest, most spot to attack. Took the advantage of the bustling traffic on the road, the movement of civilians, and then disappeared in the crowd. That is the modus operandi that they have
this time they've used. Shuja, let me go across. Let me go across to former Chief of Army Staff, the Indian Army, General Shankar Roy Chaudhary, who is joining us in this broadcast. Good evening, General, and thank you so much for speaking to India today. We're looking at another proxy war attempt by Pakistan. If you look at it from June, this time round, you've had a surgical strike. A message was delivered in September to Pakistan not to mess with India. Then you had new Pak Army chief who's been installed. You've also had the demonetization drive, which has led to certain cash crunch and squeeze and terror funds in the valley. But in your opinion, sir, is the Pampore attack yet another wake-up call that Pakistan continues with its treachery?
I think we have never gone to sleep on that because Pakistan always has been the enemy. Pakistan always has been the enemy. It continues to be the enemy. Its elements inside Kashmir continue to be the enemy. So that is a separate issue altogether. But what is of concern is the fact that these ambushes are happening more or less around the same spot on a main highway.
Yes.
Therefore, by now, the lessons of the last ambush, I think it was a CRPF vehicle which had fallen out and was traveling out of convoy. So I think we have got to go back to basics. We have got to go back to traveling in a convoy, which we were. We've got to have road opening parties inside a built-up area, which can be done. It will be a hardship for the local people, but as long as the convoy is passing through, the drill is that that area is picketed off, and road opening parties keep the road open until the convoy gets through. There has to be fixed timing for convoys. So we've got to go back and to the lessons that we know. Now this is becoming a danger,
go back to the basics, General Chaudhary. What you're saying is go back to the basics in terms of managing security for the movement of the army convoy. General Chaudhary, but we would like to take your views also on how post-surgical strike ceasefire violations have gone up. Our soldiers have been martyred. Is it time to have yet another option on the table?